Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions.
Kev, you got me thinking about something. Do you think we have enough with 122 weeks in, 122 episodes? You think we have enough to feed into the computer? Let's figure 122 episodes. We talk for 2 to 3 hours. If you count the pregame show, about 3 hours. So that's many hundreds of hours of yours and my voice. Can we feed enough into the computer where it can do an entire AI show? We just put the topic in. Today, have Kevin Sean talk about, this week's episode of The Penguin. And it could create an entire, so we can just stay home. What do you think?
As far as like AI, I think that right now, if I was 16 years old, that's what I would be doing. I would be trying to figure out how I could make my fortune in AI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's, everybody that's like the billionaire talk is keeping AI away from the Chinese, Cuban, Musk, all these players. I mean, they don't want any regulation. They want to be able to do their own thing, to make sure that, because they want to break up Google, and it's just like, and people have asked the question, well, you just can't break up Google and just like. They're like, no, like it's synergistic, like the whole thing works. So I don't know enough about AI. I would probably say 90%, absolutely, they could do a show.
Okay, so here's an AI command fed into Steve, was this fed into the Kliq This bank that you created?
Yes, but with Notebook LM. Google has a free thing called Notebook LM, and that has everything. That has everything that's public.
All right. So the command was write me an episode of Kliq This about the Penguin complete with how Sean, Oliver, and Kevin Nash would talk about it. So I see no profanity. So right away... This can't. So let's read so here's the dialogue. All right, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Kliq This. It's your boy Sean Oliver. I would never say that. Back with Big Daddy Cool.
You would never say that.
I don't think I'd call him that. Himself, Kevin. Kev, how are you, buddy? Look at Kev's reply. Read that one.
Doing all right, Shauno. Just trying to stay out of trouble,
Book him, Dano. I don't know.
Speaking of large cocks.
Unbelievable. I'll have to examine this later. So I maybe the technology's not there yet, Kev. So we have to keep showing up.
No, I just think that that's at a starter level. I'm sure that if you gave that to somebody that's working for the federal government to hack
the feds can do a little better.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think that the CIA or somebody else, there's.
I think you're right, Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash.
You're telling me, Shawno.
We're doing this on Halloween, and we decided to come dressed as ourselves.
I came dressed as an apathetic 65-year-old, I don't give a fuck kind of dude.
It's Halloween every day in Kev's house.
Every day's Halloween.
Now, Halloween was a hell of a deal when you were a kid, right? I mean, this was like, it got no better than that day. It was like,
It was
licensed.
simplistic. You went to Ben Franklin's. You went on there was an aisle that was probably, they had
What is Ben Franklin's? You have to.
Ben Franklin's was a five and dime store.
Oh, a store. All right.
So you went to Ben Franklin's, and you walked down an aisle, and there was Ben Cooper costumes.
Is that the plastic mask that would
Yes.
cut into your eyeballs when you
The
tried
plastic
to wear
mask with the little thing you tied on the back, which
Oh.
was like the onesie that you and
Always snapped.
you were G.I. Joe, you were the Mummy, you were Frankenstein, and then as you got older, you would always take the cork and burn the cork and rub it on your face underneath the mask in case anybody gave the full-size candy bars out. Because it was so fucking cold in Detroit, you'd always have to wear jackets, so your shit was always covered.
Wasn't that the fucking worst? You get a
Yeah.
costume and then you have to cover it with a
You got to
puffer.
cover it because your mom wouldn't let you go out unless you got to have my mom, if it was 60, we'd be in parkas, and but you'd go and then you get the large bar with the Mummy plastic mask, then you'd wait a couple of minutes and slide back after a couple of groups of kids came with the mask in your pillowcase, and you'd be a pack of bums. No, we weren't here. This is a pack of bums.
Right. I remember that parka. You're a Nash's kid.
No, because they didn't know who you were.
You didn't stay in your neighborhood?
Well, God, I mean, fucking our neighborhood had, on our street was probably 30 houses, and then you went around the corner, you didn't even know who, on the other side of your street, you might have known the block behind you, maybe the kids that you went to school with, you'd know, but not like the old people, like you would know who they were.
We never did the neighborhood. I was half a block away from like a main, like where all the stores were, Bergen Line Avenue, that cut through like 4 cities. So we would just go up there and we hit all the stores, and I guess the stores always felt obligated to have to give you candy. But what a deal! I mean, what kid doesn't love candy? And it's a day where everyone has to give you candy.
What kind of rich fucking place did you live where fucking there were banks of stores that gave candy?
Bergen Line. Google Bergen Line Avenue. You see how rich it is. It was the drag where all the stores were, but it was getting.
What city did you grow up in?
West New York.
I don't know.
Right near Coco. What's his name? Joey Diaz. He had me by a couple of years. He went to an adjacent high school in an adjacent town.
But there wasn't like row houses.
There was everything. There were big apartment buildings. It was about 85% Hispanic of different types, and then the pocket of gringos that, I guess, founded the town and then were flushed out, except us.
Yeah, see, it's completely different in Detroit because you've got downtown, which nobody went. You wouldn't never go downtown. Then you had all the You've ever seen it's like Chicago or anywhere else where it's all suburbs.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
But what a deal. I mean, that would be like today, like Halloween for you as a kid. That's like today, Kev, if there was one day a year, like you put on a costume and you get blown at any door you go to, like they have to blow you.
Yeah, at my age, though, after the second house, I'm like, I'm going to take a nap.
Go back out, grab your pumpkin and go back out. What's your neighbor next door? Knock on what's his name? When he's fixing the fence.
Sounds like a Diddy White party. What the fuck?
You flew to fucking Charlotte with that back, dude.
Oh,
You should have let me talk you out of that. Before you
Jesus
bought and took
Christ!
that
I wish
gig.
somebody would have told me. So the only two places you can fly from Daytona Beach direct are Charlotte and Atlanta. And I had a deal in Charlotte, so I went to do a signing. And on a normal trip, I would go ahead and just go through Atlanta. I wouldn't, but I said, man, I'm beat up. My back's fucking killing me. I don't want to fucking walk through the Atlanta airport. I'll just take the direct to Charlotte. Charlotte Airport is the fucking biggest shithole. I can only
Is it
say
old? Why? Is it run down?
it's
Just poorly managed?
number
All of the
one.
above?
It's a hub for American, and American is fucking horrible. American, I guarantee you, American is in the top 3 listings with like Spirit, and I'll guarantee you they're somewhere in the worst airline. But for a major airline, they've got to be number 1 as far as just horrible. And so the e-concourse in Charlotte is you go around a corner and it says e-concourse. It's got this big fucking E. You got to go down like a little escalator, and all the carpet's been torn up. Every moving sidewalk's taken out for some kind of, because you, God forbid, if you were to do one at a time, get them all out. So you've got 50 gates, and it's like 1 through 6, and then like a food court, and you separate and you go it's like, it was just, and so coming in, I mean, coming in is not that fucking bad. It's just the fact that there's no moving sidewalks. I came in at E13. So I'm at the fucking, it wasn't the worst of so when I go back, I'm in E36, and I get to E36, and it was a fucking haul. And my back's fucking killing me because I've been sitting and signing for 3-4 hours. And I get there, and it says Montgomery, Alabama. And I'm like, is this not Daytona Beach? She goes, oh, no, they changed gates. You're at so-and-so.
How far
And it
was
was
that
like,
from where
it
you
was
were?
like, it was in the 20s,
And you're at what?
36.
All right.
So, I mean, it was, and then when I got there, it was like fucking 13. It was like the gate that I basically left out of. And it was such a small area that they had 4 different, so it was like 13, 14, 15, and 16 that were on the wall, the actual diagrams of the the boards of the flights and how much time. Then they had this guy that I guess he got fired as a greeter at Walmart. He was about 80 years old. He was on this microphone, and he would be like, and last call for Knoxville, line 1. I'm like, what the fuck's this guy talking about, line 1? I look over, there's like this little podium that this old man's at, and they have line 1, line 2, line 3, like where you go, and that's how you go down to your gate, like, and I'm
But he's
just
doing
like,
a last call for each individual line.
yeah. So, and then I'm looking at it, and at this point, like Daytona Beach is like 9 minutes, and he hasn't made any calls yet. Not only that, we're in Canadian regional 70s. So I mean, we're in planes that I would say are probably you know,
What is
maybe
that? What is it? What is that?
Canadian
regional
regional.
set?
It's like a 70-seat small tiny jet. It's got 4 first class seats on one side, and then double like tandem seats. So but they're not really first class seats.
Mm.
And like if you had to piss, good luck. You know, it's like a lunch pail sitting up there to go piss in, and it just a horrible, horrible experience. And this guy gets on, he goes, Jesus Christ, man, this fucking plane's so small, I barely stand on it. He's going back to, back behind me. And I just looked at him, I said, dude, I said, you could stand on this fucking thing. Like, I can't even stand, and then it's always the same thing. Even though I'm only going 4 rows back, I've always got somebody that just has some kind of a problem where they just can't get back to their seat. So I've already committed. Now I'm bent over. My back's fucking killing me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but the only difference is, as life goes on, is the 45-year-old you would have lashed out at the people that worked for American, and you actually have pity that this is how they fucking, like, they have to do, like, work for this company to fucking make a living, because you know that everybody on this, like, you don't see anybody get on the plane that's got a smile on their face. It's like, fuck. It was just a bad experience. And I'm realizing now, it's like, I don't know how many more personal appearances I got left in me. It's just
due to the hassle of
it's just it's and I'm not too sure if you came and picked me up in a private plane, it would be worth it. It's just like.
But Kevin, you specifically would have a tendency to go way to Howard Hughes. You'd go way too introverted. This is a reason for you to get out of the house.
I thought.
You thought it was a reason to get out of the house.
I know. I thought it would be good for me to get out of the house. I haven't been out of the house since SummerSlam.
So, and you'd remove that altogether if you stopped doing appearances. I don't know that that's healthy from a mental standpoint, might I say.
Oh, I don't know if it's mentally healthy for me to fucking put myself through what I did yesterday.
No, that's true too.
I mean, I missed my therapy session today because by the time I got home, it was 11:20. I had to eat.
Did you meet anyone on the plane at least? Anyone you could talk to, pass the time?
I met an interesting gentleman who had moved from Rochester, New York to Florida. And we were talking before we got on the plane. And he was telling me that he had to leave. He said, I moved down to Daytona Beach. I said, oh, really? And he goes to the same longevity doctor as me. He's a physician himself. And so he said, yeah, I had to get out of Rochester because I just couldn't put up with the Democrats. And I was just like, I said, so it's better for your he was saying because of his kids. I said, it's better for your kids to be in a Republican Florida where they don't want your kids to be taught about slavery. And
what was he fearing? What happened to his kids in Rochester? Is there a pizzeria where they drink their blood in the basement there too? I thought that was only California.
Because the school day, I think they were trying to elongate the school day, which would have gave them a longer window to actually do the sex change operations.
Right.
After the carpool, like once you dropped them off, they could get in and get a hold of your kid and do the procedure, and so you could come back and try to find out which one of your kids is actually yours.
It's part of the state testing that they do.
Yeah, like, I think they're actually in Florida. They were going to go to a DNA program in case anybody tried to pull that 8-hour sex change.
Right. Which would
So,
disqualify them from the Olympics too.
yeah.
So.
Well, but I found it interesting because the guy was I said to I was just like I was kind of puzzled because he was a physician. It wasn't like he was a numbskull. And then he looks at me and goes, well, I defected from Cuba, so I'm not used to having a lot of rights. And I went, oh, okay, well, that's a game changer. Like, so you're like,
did he defect from Castro in 1959 or like now?
He's been here for he made mention of Castro.
Oh, so he was there during the maybe
Guy
Raul's,
was probably
could
50,
be Raul's reign too.
52 years old. So I mean,
Okay, that's yeah.
So I'm thinking like, oh, well, that puts a different spin on the psychology of maybe Rochester being too liberal.
Mm.
So
all in all, though, a successful outing. This was business, I assume.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it was okay.
Okay, that's fine.
The person that I went to, the person I went to work for, I like, and it was nice to see him. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. Is I'm doing personal appearances, and either the person that's taking me around or the person that I'm working for is like somebody I've been, dealing with for 20, 30 years. And it's more of a, let me see this person, because people are, this past week, I'm not going to go into who the people are for their privacy and for the privacy of their families. But one of my friends, his adopted daughter, shot herself, like early 20s, and then another friend of mine, her son shot himself in one of her homes, and it's like, so, and people seem to be dropping left and right. So at this point, like it's like, if you're somebody that I give a fuck about and I have a chance to come see you and make a little cash on the side,
right?
It's a win. So this was a win because I got to see a friend, and but I could find, what, I could be getting blown by Angelina Jolie and her fucking during Mr. and Mrs. Smith days, which I thought was like her hottest,
the prime years,
and I could absolutely find at least 2 to 3 hours of something to complain about.
That's
so.
That's the barometer of curmudgeon for you. You just bring up the actress. Would you complain being blown by? And then it's like Beverly D'Angelo, Barbara Eden, Angelina Jolie, and it's where you stop is where you are on the Nash scale.
Yeah, Angelina, that was like, it was kind of like Pam Anderson during Bob Wire. That was like her like peak when you were like, when you go like, oh God.
I got a flight Monday out of LaGuardia, which is not my favorite place.
Hey, when was the last time you flew out of there?
It's been a year.
Have you been there since it turned to Heathrow?
Since it what?
Dude, what airline are you flying?
JetBlue.
Doesn't count. If you fucking were to fly, if you were a Delta person, you used to land in LaGuardia, get out, there was like 12 gates. You'd walk down, there was an escalator that was like a third of what a normal escalator is. You'd take a left, there was 4 baggage claim things. You knew that you had to show your baggage claim to get your bag. So there was it was kind of secure. Then you would go out and get right into a car. Now you land, and there are signs that say, you are 23 minutes from fucking baggage claim from here. It's unbelievable.
But you said it doesn't. My airline. I'm not going to have to deal with this.
I don't think so. I don't fly JetBlue.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, it's like, and JFK is unbelievably. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, Newark has a whole new concourse.
Well, it was a Concourse A, right? I love that.
Yeah, which is actually, it's nice.
It's a
but
goddamn amusement park. But yeah, I'll be in Florida for a week, and I may have to go to the. You always talked about that Italian place, and then
Portofino's.
Then last time I mentioned it,
we
you
might
raised
go
your
there.
eyebrow, and we were like, last couple of times.
Yeah, but it's I went ahead and I'm good friends with the owner, and I told him, I said, man, I don't know who's back there cooking, but I gotta lighten up on the fucking salt, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had a problem since.
All right, I'll go.
So
Portobello,
Portofino. I think I might go there on. I'll probably go this weekend because I'm overseeing a wedding this weekend.
Okay, so what's the status of this? It's happening. It's not. I didn't know with the body if it was going to work.
I'm doing it.
Okay, good for you.
I'm only doing it because
well, you committed to it, so that's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I found out after the fact. Like, they came to me, and I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of an honor to. And then I find out in retrospect that they've been married. They had their 1-year anniversary in August.
Are you getting in a time machine to do this wedding? How's it? What do you
It's. I'm so fucking pissed off because I feel like I was used. Like,
they were married already.
They're already, like, I realized that, but I was informed when they brought this to me that they would be getting married before the ceremony, so I wouldn't have any official. Not the fact that they were already fucking been married 9 months when they fucking pitched this at me. So now it's like,
is it just so they could say they have a celebrity at the event? Is this what's happening?
There's a lot of shit going on. A lot of it's always the battle between the families.
Oh, God.
I just look at it as,
sounds like the last thing you want to do.
Well, she's the bride is like family.
All right. So.
And Tristan and her were really, really close.
All right.
So, and Tristan was ordained.
Of course he was. Oh my God, this is unbelievable that you're just telling me this now.
Yeah, Tristan was ordained. So he would have, like, this would have been so T. T would be fucking, I mean, it would have been such a spectacle to watch him, like, put this together. Like, there'd been a whole part of that process. So now it's the curmudgeon dad. And it's almost like, I've, like, so many times I want to say, man, fuck this. And then it's like, no, because T would have savored this. So a long time ago, I was at a personal appearance, and they gave me, I don't know what they are, but they were like these red beads. They kind of almost look like the beads that Roman Reigns wears. Like those, the head of the table beads. I don't know if I can find a picture of T in these things, but I gave them to T, and T wore them all the time. So, like, everybody's in tuxedos and all this shit, and I'm showing up with a pair of black Woodies on, which is like a comfort slack, a polo shirt, some Jordans, sunglasses, but I'm gonna fucking rock these beads for T.
So it's almost like you're filling in for T, because this is something he would have been
Yes.
asked to do, being a friend of hers.
Yes, this would have been all T.
All right.
So let me see if I can. All right, so let me see if I can.
Picturing T walking in with the certificate from whatever church it was that he found that got ordained. Mom, Dad, I'm a minister now. I just want you to know that.
It's on his Jeep. He's got a sticker that says he's ordained. In case somebody bumps, you know how people have like handyman stickers in the back of their cars? Yeah.
Well, you never know. He might, at the site of a car accident, he may have to do last rites for somebody. It was wise of him to advertise.
So
now, where do you have to travel for this, Kevin? Is this going to involve a lot of travel?
This is local. No,
all right.
Oh, fuck. If I had to travel,
I'm saying picturing you on a flight somewhere.
This would be absolutely a no-go.
Not happening.
No. I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to be like in the Baltimore area next weekend.
You hit Jimmy's.
Fucking hit a Percocet.
Feedback from last week.
Christ.
Bronx PC Tech says, anyone who can't understand why an hour talking about Arnold Palmer's massive, gargantuan, girthy hog is entertainment can go fuck themselves. Out of all the candidates, Palmer's dinosaurian pecker is the most qualified.
Why did people complain that we talk too much about his hog?
I didn't see. I mean,
we don't get.
We don't do that on the cesspool of YouTube anymore. But
Steve, I'm going to send you this picture of T with the beads on.
David from WWEleaks.org, 100% one of my favorite tag matches ever. So, Kev, I saw this shared a few times. The you and Shawn Michaels against
Action Zone.
Pac and Hall from Action Zone, right?
Yeah.
This was making the rounds this week on the socials and a lot of. Well, I guess our post triggered it because it was the anniversary of the show. Steve, do I have this right? It was the anniversary of the broadcast.
Steve, did that come?
30 years ago today, we sent that out apparently. So that was what David was talking about. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so they're like chakra beads almost, but thicker ones. So the ones around the neck. I like those. Those are pretty dope.
He's looking like a fucking Big Lebowski priest right there.
No, I could see him like starting a cult in the mountains with that look, plus the beads and the.
He would go into the. He would go into the. I always said, like, when we traveled, I'm like, man, if we ever get fucking like pulled over and they're gonna like chop off our heads because we're fucking from America, like just start chanting something from the Quran, we'll walk.
You know what T would have been appreciating these days is the Manscaped with all the beard products, and I bet you didn't touch your beard trimmer when he was. I bet that got commandeered pretty quickly when we first started getting those.
No, the only time that he got Manscaped is when he'd say, "Hey, Dad, my shit's too whack. I gotta get it trimmed up," and I was his personal
the Manscaped.
Yeah.
This chairman that they sent, I'm so loving. The contouring on this guy right here, if you can see the action there, it does contour the sizable blade area to make sure you get absolutely everything. Guys, your grooming should be a one and done routine, all right? The days of using the same trimmer for your face and private parts are over thanks to Manscaped. Their set of products, their line is absolutely spellbinding when you go through. If you go to the website and you look at all the things they have available, the bundles they have, the beard and balls bundle. Okay, that's what we're going to introduce here today. Okay, the Beard and Balls Bundle. It's the ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6. All right, Lawnmower 5.0 and Beard Hedger. Okay, a trimmer for the moneymaker and another one for the boys downstairs. And we're giving you 20% off, as we always do, plus free shipping with the code KLIQ, KLIQ, at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with that code. First up, your ball's new best friend will be the Lawnmower 5.0 they're up to, mastering the game and improving with each iteration of their devices. Say goodbye to endless passes. The trimmer gets it right the first time, cutting through the bushiest of bushes, okay, effortlessly while being gentle on the skin. Why? The skin-safe blade heads, might I say. Choose between a precise trim or a smooth finish. Did I mention it's waterproof? If I didn't, I'm going to. It's waterproof, okay? Take care of your business in the shower. Don't make a goddamn mess all over the place. Those hairs are almost impossible to get rid of. It's like if you get real Christmas trees, it's like the pine needles, for God's sakes. Now let's talk about the Beard Hedger. If you're going for neat stubble or the full-on lumberjack look, the trimmer has you covered. Titanium-coated stainless steel T-blade and 20 length options. Okay, if you're a beard wearer, 20 length options should be music to your ears. You can achieve any style you want. Okay, guys, 20% off, free shipping with the code KLIQ at manscaped.com. You're going to be joining 11 million men who trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs. And 11 million men can't be wrong. 20% off, free shipping with the code KLIQ at manscaped.com. No more juggling multiple tools or dealing with subpar results. Just efficient, effective grooming whenever you need it. Thank you so much, Manscaped. I love their products. And so when you hold a Manscaped product, Kevin, the substantial, the weight of it, the contouring on even the part that you're holding, I don't know if you could see on some of those examples they have there. It feels good to hold, and you know you're getting quality grooming from them. I can't say enough about them, and I love all the creams too. The crop, little crop deodorant you get for down there.
I did the 8.0, and then on the sides I do 7 on the beard trimmer. So I did mine yesterday morning when I got up. I was looking a little rough.
Yeah, no, so, it looks phenomenal. Only a shave from.
I've got it. Yeah, the first one we ever got from them, like 2 years ago, is because when they sent us that new package. My wife was like, "You have you what are we gonna?" do? So I have to it's not like you can give your ball trimmer to somebody else, but I've got an upgraded version now. So just I've tried now for 4 days to throw it away. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like, so the other one now is in the box. The new one is in the box, resting on the hydro tub, while the old one is sitting in its thing going like, it's just like it was like the fucking Mustang, the black, the 05 Mustang.
The first bat you hit a home
it's
run
like,
with.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Fuck, man. Like I when something is there for me, it's really hard for me. It's almost like it's personal. It's like I looked at that Manscaped the other day, and I guess I did my pits with it, and it was just like, really, dude? Like, I'm gonna get thrown in the fucking trash? I'm like,
That'd be a good tagline. It's personal. Manscaped.
It is personal. It is personal.
As anything that passes through your ball hair should be personal.
I mean, and my whole thing is like, there were so many years that I would have like a beard trimmer, and you'd put it on like a setting, and then you would go to trim, and all of a sudden it would just like, nah, and it would take you, and you'd be like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Because it had like some kind of a clip-on
device.
Yeah, like a clip-on fucking guide or some shit. Where this one, man, it's just like, If you fuck up, it's because you can't turn a fucking notch that says 8.0, and then like sometimes you go, you know what? I'm just going to go 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so go 8.5. So it's a little bit bushier. I don't
Love
know.
it.
Yeah, it's great products, and goddamn right, it's personal.
All right. The Happy Werewolf. Hard to believe Sean worked with the Cubans as a young man from legend to snowflake. Eat the left. I guess that's me. Well, I grew up around Cubans, and I guess, yeah, Cubans. I don't know. Okay, so it's tough. A Happy Werewolf. I'm sorry it's hard for you to believe that I had a life outside of the very narrow casting that you'd like to create for me. But once again, we got to go to the left, right? It's the political obsession of a certain
Don't
party.
take it personal, Shawno.
So incredible. Thank you, Big Sex. Big Daddy Cool, Kevin.
Thank you.
Steve Sintez, Sean, your daughter's voice in Annie was awesome. I don't think we were able to play that last week, right, Steve?
Yeah, we got it. We got it on there.
Was it in?
Mm-hmm.
Steve, how did you found a way around that? I thought we had a copyright.
Oh,
it was off the YouTube.
Oh,
I played
okay.
it on iTunes, not the YouTube.
Okay. Okay, so it was on YouTube, but it was on the other on the audio. Oh, very good. Kev, I just lost my father on 8/27/24 of cardiac arrest. He was fit like an athlete, but didn't get checked out. I'm 41. He was 62. Thank you for sharing your stories.
All right, so Steve, you need to make sure that you're getting some blood work done.
Right.
Because obviously, if he's fit, that means he's got some kind of metabolic factor going on. I don't know the last time you had your glucose checked, triglycerides. I mean, you need to, you could have chronically low LDL or HDL and high LDL. There's a lot of things that lead to heart disease factors. So
the key numbers to look at, right, for someone with a history of with heart issues in the family would be the cholesterol, right? The what else?
cholesterol. I mean, there's so many people that debunk the cholesterol thing. They're saying that the statin, like this, if you don't have cholesterol, then it affects your brain because and Alzheimer's is skyrocketed since the invent of the statin drugs. I mean, how many times have you read coffee is great for you, coffee is bad for you?
That's like the red wine thing a lot.
Yeah,
people
and
swear
now
by studies where it's good.
And now
then...
the thing is, it's like there is not, because I ran out of studies to tell me that red wine was good for me. There were none left, and that's why I stopped drinking, because it was just like, at 65 years old, any alcohol that you put in your body, especially if you're taking a statin drug, which is going to wreak havoc on your liver, is like you just add, like, everything you put in your body's got to go through your liver. And at that point, it was just like, I don't want to fucking die.
Mm-hmm. No, of
So.
course. So Steve, go check those. Get your blood work done.
Yeah, get
check
your
those
blood work
numbers out.
done.
See your cardiologist every 6 months, every year, and probably every year. What are you, 41? Every year.
I would start. You probably don't even. He's 40 something. You probably don't even
41.
have a cardiologist.
Get one.
Yeah, get a have your. I mean, it starts off with make sure you got a good fucking general practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard because, man, it's like there's so many people that don't have insurance.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think it's a good thing to vote out the Democrats and
get rid of affordable care.
Well, and
Affordable
then
Care Act
existing
21.
existing problems.
Oh,
and then,
pre-existing conditions,
get
right?
rid
They'll
of
nail you on
that and go
one.
with maybe a concept.
Not a plan,
Not a plan,
a concept.
but I got some concepts. I'm thinking I got some concepts for some movies. I'm talking A24.
We're talking before the show. Kev's a big fan. He's hoping that they do an exclusive A24 streaming channel, so we can catch up on the ones that he only
All the
saw
ones
7
I missed.
minutes of.
Yeah. I can't believe that Civil War wasn't up for some kind of awards. Like best film to replace Ambien.
You were not a fan. I didn't give it a chance, so I can't speak to it.
What's the actress that kisses Spider-Man in the first film? Kristen Dunst.
Yeah,
Kirsten Dunst. Whatever.
Dunst.
Boy, they were able to make her look pretty rough in Civil War.
By design, I would assume, right?
It's not a good movie.
Wes is objecting on the.
Wes, it looks like
chat.
I was in charge of that last scene when they go and get the president.
Oh, you ruined it. They get the president at the end? God damn it. Jen has written in and she said, I'm watching more chick porn on Netflix, also known as The Crown. Yes, I use that term frequently now since Kliq This, making it a part of my vocabulary. Kev, did you sit through any of The Crown? I feel like you did. You didn't watch any of it?
No.
Tamara watched
I might have watched one. I might have watched 7 minutes of one. It seems 7 to 15 minutes is about my ballpark before I bail.
Right.
So if it's some slow burn, unless it's if you've got actors that I appreciate their work or a director who I appreciate, I'll give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like that's about a half hour. Like I'll give it about a half hour, and if it hasn't grabbed me in a half, because it's basketball season now. So I mean, there's Oklahoma Thunder's playing somewhere on some channel. I'll slip into an early season NBA basketball game in a heartbeat.
Lu Yogang O, the only podcasts I listen to are Kliq This and the 2 Cornette shows. Kev and Jim agree far more than they disagree on most things. The disagreements might be extreme, but I'd argue the agreements would be just as extreme. I'd love the two to chat.
I don't think that Jim and I are too far apart on much anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think, even when Jim was famous for coining the 5-move thing, right?
Yeah.
He did it on one of our shows. He didn't do it like making fun of you. I felt that it was like he got over with 5 fucking moves, and one of them was a hair flip. It was almost a distant admiration. That was always my impression. I never felt that.
I never took it as any disrespect.
Right. You always kind of wore it as a badge of honor, right?
Well, to me, when you're doing something that's a work and you're doing less and making more than 99% of the guys, aren't you kind of like, haven't you kind of figured out the secret sauce?
Yes, you've cracked the code.
I mean, I don't remember me ever having to come off the top turnbuckle and do a flip and land on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way, did you show that thing to Steve that I sent you?
I'm going to bring that up in a minute. I'm going to have it brought up from
okay,
Steve. We may have to do a
okay, Shauno.
Thank you, big daddy cool Kevin. We're going to have to that I would have to say you're more known by the Big Sexy than the Big Daddy Cool. And the Big Daddy Cool, that was the big new generation push. I mean, that was on all the merch and everything. You just threw the big sexy out yourself once, right? During a
Right.
promo.
Yeah.
But when we first announced that we were doing this show, and I would run into people, they would say, "You're doing a show with Big Sexy." That's the thing that's lasted, despite Big Daddy Cool being on every T-shirt and lunchbox or whatever. The Big Sexy is what lasted.
I think one of my favorite things, I signed some items yesterday, and some of them were pictures of Vinny Vegas.
That's cool.
And I told the person that I was signing for, I said, like, I don't have a Vinny Vegas signature. I said, I think I just print Vinny Vegas and I carry the S on the bottom. Like, I just kind of carry like the S like long on the bottom. I said, but I think I just printed out.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked on his phone. He goes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I said, all right. I said, but you have to realize, you know, if you have to do 20 of those and you got to print each one of them, as opposed to Diesel or Kevin Nash, which has muscle memory, which I could, you know, I could do 100 Kevin Nashes in probably 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically as fast as somebody can pull.
Thank God Oz is just 2 letters, right?
Oz is fucking classic. I did some Oz things yesterday.
Do you have a little something for Oz, or
It's an O with the Z in it.
in the O? Yes,
But it's like through it, like almost like Zorro.
all right.
It's kind of that kind of a feel.
All right.
Because you know when you went over to Japan, you have those white cards that all the fans have you sign with a big black.
When you went to Japan, were you a sake drinker? I know you're a wine drinker. Where did you stand on sake?
I like sake.
Yeah, a sweeter or more or
See, there's a little Oz
there's
signature
the
right there.
Oz one. You signed both on that one. Did they request that, or you defaulted?
See, that doesn't even have the trailing
No.
S.
So they want the Kevin Nash, and then they want the Vinny Vegas. When they
It
ask you
just
to sign.
depends, but I mean, like anything else in life, it's, you know, if you get one and you want the other, it's double.
Double the price. You asshole.
Fuck it, man.
Listen, next time. When's the last time you were in Japan?
At least 5 years.
Oh, that recent. I didn't realize. Okay, so that's that. So, well, your sake drinking experience will be much easier when you have ZBIOTICS with you.
But I don't drink.
The pre-alcohol. Well, now, but I mean, for one who is going and
On our anniversary, Tamara, you know, she said to me, she goes, because I brought home a bottle of wine and she had a bottle of wine, and she said, no, she says, we why we don't need 2 bottles of wine in the house. And I told her, I said, well, you know, we got that because she asked me about the product.
Yeah.
And I told her what it was, and I said, just take this. And she goes, I'm not drinking enough to take it, you ass. Like, I'm not going to be your guinea pig. And I'm thinking, man, I almost want to drink just to take this.
Exactly. Rave reviews from everybody that I know that's taken it. If there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, it's with pre-alcohol. Okay, ZBIOTICS pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. It's so simple. When you're going to drink, right, when you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration or all these other theories, that's to blame for a rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this product down. Just remember to make ZBIOTICS your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you're going to feel your best the next day. I don't drink much, but you know what? If I'm at a steakhouse, I'm going to have an obnoxious smoked old-fashioned, perhaps, to gas out everybody in the room, or maybe just a standard one. And a couple of weeks ago, I took one of these. I'm going out Saturday night to a new restaurant for my birthday. And I will be, on my birthday night, I will be having a cocktail before my steak. Therefore, I will be bringing ZBIOTICS pre-alcohol probiotic drink. Okay? And, guys, I kept hearing about this everywhere. I would hear about pre-alcohol, and now I know what it is and what it's actually like. I've tried it. I get why everybody's talking about it now. Go to ZBIOTICS.com/KLIQ to learn more. You're going to get 15% off as well from your first order, okay, when you use the code KLIQ at checkout. Don't forget the code. ZBIOTICS is backed with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they're going to refund your money, no question. Guys, give it a shot. You got nothing to lose, okay? ZBIOTICS.com/KLIQ. Use the code KLIQ at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBIOTICS. This is like...
We got that was outsider approved.
Oh,
You know what? I've got to get that. I've got to get that product because I have my I'm going to get it to Hulk because Hulk has to go out and mug that beer.
Oh,
during
that's
the
right.
weeks.
The
And
Hulk beer.
he's drinking a couple of beers here and there. Ain't no way he's not, pushing beer and not drinking a few. So
Mhm.
maybe I'll see if I can't get Hulk to do a little ZBIOTICS and give me a.
Get it on camera. Have him tape himself doing it and give us
Well,
the
he won't
testimonial.
do that, but he'll give me.
Oh, fuck him. What do you well, sure he could. Help his buddy Kevin. You
he's
would help him? You're ordained, you'd marry him. Did he get remarried?
Yes.
Okay. So that's done. Can't do that. So the previously mentioned video, Kevin, was some footage. All right, backstory. So Meltzer, I guess people were calling out Dave Meltzer, the venerable wrestling journalist. Many 50 years in the business, writing about, you got to give props. But so somebody was kind of taking issue with the fact that he was critical of was it Ospreay and Ricochet? Or he had praised the Ospreay and Ricochet
He
match.
praised Ospreay and Ricochet
And was critical of the
and then
ladies.
shit on the girls from NXT.
Right. So here is the footage of the two matches in question, the two NXT girls and the Ospreay Ricochet video. What do you notice about this? If you're listening, maybe do a little play-by-play. You need to find this if you're listening on Instagram.
Yeah.
Move for move. This is
Well,
the same
what
match.
we'll do is we'll put this on one of our social media.
Okay,
so
right.
So you can watch this clip. But I mean, it's this. How you can? It's.
And I believe the quote from Meltzer, it's at the bottom by Dave's picture, was that he criticized the I'm paraphrasing, I don't want to get him wrong. I think he said gymnastics of the women's match for being unrealistic.
As opposed to that Dragon Ball Z finish that they just did on the Ricochet Ospreay match.
Right. It's hard. I respect Dave Meltzer. I'm probably in the minority. I respect Dave Meltzer because he's been able to, for maybe it's 40 years, to cover so much product. I mean, back before anyone was, everyone
absolutely.
knew WWE and what was good WCW, but all the Japanese promotions and Mexico, and just he had a beat on all of it, and it's a Herculean task, and it came out every week. I don't think he missed a week, or was it bi-weekly, or was it weekly? I think it was weekly, right?
But when you do things like he just did on that, it's almost like, watch out, because now you've been doing this clown thing for a long time, Mr. Gacy. I might decide to look underneath your home. So
you look at a video like that and you see the two matches so very. Now, of course, these are isolated moments from that. Maybe much different things happened after this
right.
each match. Right? Could have happened. Let's see. I'm getting a note here. Criticize the match as a whole with a lot of botches in the women's. It wasn't just that clip. Okay, so there were probably other things that were going. But he used the word acrobatic or choreographed or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It's when you lay that out, whether you're spot on or whether you have botches, the psychology doesn't change.
Right.
The psychology of both those matches is trying to achieve the same thing, and it's fucking bullshit.
Right.
I've always thought the closer that the work looks like a shoot, the better it was. And I understand that there are always going to be like the high flying, but the risk ratio, because nobody's been in a bar fight and, done a 420 off the bar on a guy that they've knocked down on the floor. And we all understand that. I get it. But at the same time, it's just like, I can only distend my belief so far. And when you're doing something that's absolutely the greatest show on earth quality of choreograph, I'm sorry. I don't have.
Well, here's for me, when I would watch wrestling in the 90s and before, the spot on the card, right? You could have some variety on the card when Psychosis or Mysterio, or even before that when I was a kid and I'd go to the matches and there was one spot on the card where Mil Mascaras would be there and do a much more tame version of
but the
acrobatics.
psychology was not. It never came across that it wasn't a contest for a victory. This to me looks like synchronized swimming.
Correct. But and when the luchadors would come on Nitro, it was a fun 10 minutes. But it was isolated to that. Like I knew what I was going to get. But it was
still a car crash.
Okay, right. So you're saying there was still danger. It was a believable fight.
It was just, it was a fight
contest
in the luchador style.
Right.
Like Rey Mysterio, when his strikes, everything he did was, even though it was aesthetically like out of this world, nobody could follow Rey. But when you took somebody like Eddie and put him with Rey, and Eddie worked more of the fucking Western, more the American style, though he could do all the luchador, Eddie put into it that grind. Eddie put into it the believability that he could beat your fucking ass. Eddie always looked on TV like he was 6'5", 240 pounds. If it was like Danny Padilla, the bodybuilder, or Lee Priest.
Sure.
When you saw them on stage by themselves, you're just like, Jesus, that's the most unbelievable fucking specimen I've ever seen in my life. And then the referee comes by and he's fucking 4 inches taller. So that was always the thing. But when you look at pictures of Eddie Guerrero just by himself, and it's just like, fuck, he's jacked.
Yeah. Kev, it's if most people are going to be catching this on day one, which is Monday. So tomorrow's the day.
Finally, right?
Monday. Yeah.
Jeez, get this
Finally
fucking
get
shit
one
over
in
with.
here, for God's sake.
You know, and the thing is no matter what happens, and it definitely won't be on, nobody in our universe thinks that midnight on Tuesday we're going to have, look who won. I mean, this is going to be such a fucking, and think about it. Think about that alone. As when you were a kid and you watched the presidential elections, and when you woke up the next morning, you grabbed the Detroit Free Press, and it would say, "Dewey wins." No,
Dewey defeats Truman.
but I mean, it was over with, and now it's such a clusterfuck. It speaks volumes to what we've been able to do as a society to a process that was so unique and so sacred. It's just ugh. But at the same time, no matter who comes out in the long run and is the winner, man, we have got to stop the fucking bullshit, and we've got to fucking mend this country. So if Donald Trump is my fucking president, man, you don't don't take the economy we got and fucking don't stick a turd in the fucking soup.
Well, the problem is you're not going to get the truth about the big campaign stump is how terrible the economy is. It's troubled economy. Is this a troubled economy? Here are some. This is reliable.
What was the GDP today? Wasn't it up fucking?
Here's your GDP, if you're asking me. Okay,
right.
International Monetary Fund is the source for this. Okay, this isn't Chris Cuomo's PowerPoint presentation. So, the average GDP growth, if you want to talk about the last two administrations, under Biden was 3.1%, Trump 2.8%. So pretty close as far as growth. But if you look against the other leading countries in this, and if you're listening, it's the UK, the European Union, and Japan. And ours dwarfs the other three lines, which are kind of in a competitive area. And we started to pull away. Let's see, if you're looking at this around, our crossover was in around 95, if you could see that, where we cross over Japan and never look back.
Right.
And we really pull away from the pack around 2010,
after basically
Obama,
the financial disaster, 08.
When Obama put it back together.
Obama put it back together, and we've taken it, and Obama gave it to Trump, and Trump took it, and Trump gave it to Biden, and Biden took it. So we've had growth, but it's like people that sit there and say, yeah, but 4 years ago were things better? Well, as far as just your GDP growth, no, they weren't. They were only off by 0.3, but no, they weren't. They weren't better. If that was cock size and Trump came at you with 2.8, I'd rather be packing 3.1. That's just me. I'm that guy. I'm Big Daddy Cool. Shawno.
Let's look at stock market growth from 2019 on. This is Bloomberg here. And U.S. is the blue line, and where we landed, I guess most recent data. It's 2024 data.
Okay, so let's look down there at that 2020 area when we took the helm. Looks like a pretty steady growth. There's a little disruption there in mid 22, 23, and then.
But we all took. If you look at the other markets, right?
Every market took a hit.
Everyone took the hit, but we rocketed back up pretty close with Japan, but have surpassed it in the last year. I mean, we're dwarfing them in the last year. S&P growth under the last two administrations, 51% under Biden, 44%. S&P growth.
So
under
there's a
Trump.
6% difference. I mean, that's
pretty good for a portfolio. I'd want to be holding.
I mean,
a stock
yeah.
under
If
6%.
if you're talking, $1 million, 6% is a nice piece of change.
Yeah.
If you're talking fucking $100, it's the difference between having $100 and having $106.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
Correct. The last graph was very interesting to me, and it's maybe the toughest to read. So I just want to. So this is energy production. Okay, we always talk about. You'll get into the fracking argument with somebody probably,
Right.
if you're talking politics. Here's total U.S. energy production, and this is a comparison from the last 50 years. Okay, 74 to 24. Okay, obviously you see tremendous growth in production on the first line. Second one, consumption also, of course, has gone up. Not as drastically, 41.6 to 54.8. But now, if you go to the next metric, which is
how much
net
we've imported.
Yes,
Yes.
we are a negative importer compared to how much energy we export in the last 50 years.
There's so few people that are listening to this program right now that were around during the oil embargo, which almost shut fucking the big three down.
Yeah. And
that was around that was during my high school years.
Right. 76, 77? When the hell were we there?
Senior year.
Yeah. So so this was actually, of all those slides, this was the most telling to me, because the energy argument always comes up, and we're in the last 50 years we've become an energy net exporter.
I think one of the telling signs of just how lost we are is when people think that by voting Donald Trump into office, or by voting Kamala into office, that it's going to change the greed of Kroger and any other grocer. That it's like, unless we do something that stops price gouging, that's, and those are the things, like, good luck when every politician is in somebody's fucking, on somebody's bankroll, and that goes for everybody. There's nobody out there, I mean, that isn't bankrolled by, interests.
I
mean,
absolutely. The lobby is strong in Washington, and that's where the power is. It's not even with politicians; it's with who's providing the money. But this is cold data. This is data to look at.
Yes.
If you're sitting undecided a day before the election, and your friends are telling you how terrible we've been doing,
and if you're saying, there's a couple we're friends with, and they're both going to vote for Trump. And we have the conversations, and he is like, they spend money like they're the fucking Rockefellers. They spend money like they've got the Kardashians bankroll, and they spend 5 times the money my wife and I do. And
do they have your bank?
Fuck. They don't have my fucking interest. And they're telling me how bad things are. I'm like, I'm not the one driving a brand new fucking Escalade. It's like, maybe you don't maybe you're just really fucking bad at money management. I know the girl's father was fucking horrible. God rest his soul. It was horrible.
with money.
Oh, there's nothing better than when you look at somebody and you start to like you get to the point where you think, okay, we're living in the same condo, probably pretty affluent, we're on the ocean, and you start to you see their vehicles and okay, they're doing okay, and then you start to go, so where do you have your assets at? What because he's older than I am, so I'm thinking I'll learn something.
Mm.
I got nothing. Oh,
Is that what he said?
basically, I'm thinking like, how does this guy have a fucking 60-foot Sea Ray and this and that and that? Oh, I get it, because fucking he ain't got fucking shit.
All right, but he'll remind you that things are terrible right now.
Yeah, things
The
are
economy's
horrible.
terrible
Things
right
are things are. You know what? If I was to go out tomorrow and put all my money on double fucking green zero on roulette and not hit, and then turn around and go,
Mhm.
fucking economy sucks. Jesus.
Let me tell you the green I want to put my money on, Kev. Our friends at VIIA. I know how much you love VIIA.
I was when I heard they
Oh.
were coming back on as a fucking
Yeah.
So
happy, right? So in love with VIIA's products. I am. And I want to go into the box a little bit here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, for God's sakes, guys, the holiday season is coming. Embrace the power of natural cannabis this season with VIIA. Unwind, recharge with VIIA, whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home, embracing the festive cheer. VIIA's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Now, they have, smash my mic, hold this for the camera up there. They have this curated set that I received. Unbelievable, Bubba.
is that a new one you got?
No, I'm awaiting a new one. This is still my previous.
Oh, fuck. I've had
You
I've
tore
actually,
through it already, right? You just ripped your whole fucking
I
thing.
actually no, I reordered with my credit card. I'm on their mailing list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you should be.
Well, I mean, it's there's very few things in life that are perfect.
Correct.
Like MANSCAPED to me is perfect. This is a perfect product.
It is a perfect product. That's the perfect way to describe it, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a perfect product, and it's like for my wife that is I would say less involved and
in the THC world.
I'll open up a canister to get one out, and I'll notice one of them has been bit in half.
Mm-hmm.
Which is perfect because then it gives me 1.5.
Right.
So that's perfect for me.
Exactly.
So but it's one of those things where I'm beat to shit, and when I love the love is my favorite.
Oh, let me bring that one out for everybody.
Bring
Kev's
the
talking
love
about
out.
this. High love. When it's time to get your padunka dunka rocking, take this. I want to tell you a story about this one here, about the green. The green. I saw a testimonial from a young lady about this. Took one of the green. This is, by the way, Cloud9. Took one of these before she fired up her rocket-sized vibrator, okay? And went to town. And you know what? After the moment of explosion, knocked her right off the goddamn bed, head first into the closet. True story. Yeah, it was that her legs were that taken out from the power. Now, that's not a guarantee. That may not work for everybody, but for God's sakes, the power of THC, the power of VIIA, guys, check out the website. If you're over 21, okay, this is an independently owned American farmed product, okay? High quality hemp source from trusted sources, okay? Ships in discreet packaging if you're worried about that, okay? No medical card required. If you're over 21, check out VIIA's website. The link is in our description. Use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, for 15% off, okay? And we want to hear about your experiences, like the girl in the closet. VIIA is the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products, each with a specific effect in mind. I talked about the Cloud 9 just now. They have dreams that'll help you with sleep. This one, Kev, I know you're a big fan of Elevate. I'm going to show this one. I believe you enjoy the
Yes.
the Elevate. And like Kevin mentioned, Tamara enjoying some of the non-THC, THC-free flow state, packed with CBD, CBG, alpha C, GPC. Guys, these are curated for all events. Their products range from 0 milligrams to 100 milligrams of THC. So these guys have got you covered, okay? VIIA is well known for premium THC flower, grown indoors in state-of-the-art facilities, harvested at peak THCA levels. Guys, 15% off with the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q. Go into the description for the website. And they're an industry leader, 500,000 customers served, made in the USA, award-winning service, quality ingredients, affordable and accessible. If you're 21 plus, please check out the link to VIIA in our description, and please tell them that we sent you by using the code KLIQ, and you get your 15% off. Thank you, VIIA. Loving VIIA so much.
I always have my best shows with a little help from my friend VIIA.
Take a goddamn green right now. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to be wild. I'm taking the Cloud 9 right now. Maybe I'll reach under the counter, give myself a little tug, and throw myself into the closet head first. There we go. Everybody get your VIIA. Thank you, VIIA, coming aboard. Again, making our days happy.
I'm kind of jealous because I didn't partake today.
Kevin, you didn't do anything before the show?
No.
Okay.
No, because I knew we were going to talk those graphs and everything else, and I mean, I actually spent, besides an hour in the gym today, I spent almost all my time going through to determine whether or not I was going to buy BlackRock stock. That's what I did today.
It's only up to what, 900 points?
I think
what is it now?
I think it actually closed at around 931.
And in the last year, what like the high low was like 600 to
was 600
1,000
to 1,000. So it's yeah.
But
if you look at their quarter projections, it's like their quarter projections are unbelievable. Like it was like 4.4. They ended up being 10.6. Like, so it's just, and
that's going to be your new Berkshire?
No, because I still pump into Buffett. But this is, I think that my Berkshire's kind of peaked at around 480-ish. I think that's going to be where it's going to be I don't know where it's at today, but this seems to, because they've got some crypto and they've got some other things that they're involved with. They got $11.5 trillion of assets that they manage. So this is a real deal Holyfield. And all you hookers and hoes know how I feel. It's like this, like that, like this.
While we're in graph mode here the day before the election, so the state of the economy, we've shown that. Now, here are some projections based on the Harris and Trump plans. Now, this is Bloomberg Economics.
Yes.
Got to get, sources are always important, as you know, Kev.
Bloomberg, this is the projection of the GDP
and inflation.
And inflation.
after the economic policies that they've outlined are enacted. So if you're looking at this, if you're watching, this is completely self-explanatory. The GDP projected change by 2028, full term here, they had Harris at a negative 0.1%. Trump's is at a negative 8.9%.
Which would be the Great Depression.
Yeah, and inflation, a 0.1% gain on, let's see, on Harris, and then a negative 0.6. Okay, so those are much tighter, the inflation than the GDP. My next one I wanted to pull here, just 'cause I'm educating myself here too, Kev. I want the data before I pull the lever. Here's the change.
This is my favorite.
This is an interesting one. Here is based on the tax break proposals of both candidates. Here is where this is reduction. Here's where you'd have the most now this is income. Now it's broken down by percentile, so each column is a different
so anybody that if this is the first time you've watched the show, I don't know how many months ago, but we went into the Trump tax cuts the last time he was in office, and the largest tax cut was given to people that were in the 7-figure and above range. That was
go to that. Go to the next one, Steve. That's what Kevin's talking about.
That was the largest tax cut.
Okay, so here's the current projection in 2026 if the tax cuts go into place. Now, by the bottom, you can see poorest 20% of the country, which is no income up to $28,600 household, under the Harris tax proposals. This is Harris's plan. Would see a 7% cut. Second, this is the 28,000 to 55,000 crowd, would see a 3.8% cut in their taxes. The middle, which is 55,000 to 94,000, according to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy in their October 2024 report, 2.7% reduction. Going up even further, the fourth class, which is 94,000 to 157,000, would see a 1.8% reduction in their taxes. Next would be 157,000 to 360,000, would still see a cut of 1.4%. The next, which is 360,000 to 914,000 annual, would see a cut of 0.7%. So you'd still have, if you made $914,000 next year, you'd still have a slightly under 1% cut. The only increase comes at the next level, which is 914,900 and above. It's the richest 1%. And that's a 4% increase in tax.
Right. Now let's go back to what
to the previous one.
To the previous one, and let's just
and go right down the line here. Just for anybody undecided about tomorrow, people.
And you can see that
once again,
the biggest tax cuts go to the
under Harris's plan.
Yeah.
And then the red would be the tax proposal with
so in essence, the other one said that Harris would be adding a 4.2 tax increase to the richest, where this one has it at 7.3 for the 1 percentile. So
and a tax break of 4.1%. on the Trump plan.
Yeah.
And 4.2%
So the largest, again, the largest tax breaks go to the 90 percentile. So in other words, if you're complaining right now that your life's the shits and you're in the bottom 40%, you're going to get a tax increase. Okay? So put that red hat on and just realize that you can feel that he's an everyman and he's not a politician and he's such an everyman that why don't you win, lose, or draw, especially if he goes over, I think you should invite yourself to one of his country clubs, pull up, play a round of golf, because hey, he's every man. Just tell him right there at the front desk that
I love that you use go over, Kev. If he goes over tomorrow.
If he goes over, right? That's what you do. Hey, it's a work, right?
Everything's a work, isn't it?
Everything's a fucking work. Like I said, both of these, I'm getting a tax cut on both, because I might pay a little bit on Kamala.
I feel like you might be paying a little, Kevin.
Yeah, but that's I gotta make that, and it's like when I run through the corporation and everything else, it's a different tax bracket than an individual.
Right.
So,
correct.
Yeah. So.
So there's a little day. Once before we had to go to the charts. It's just sitting and talking about is too much conjecture. We had to go to the data, and I think at the time, whatever argument we were having at the time, I think it seemed to stem the discussion because there weren't very many comments on that particular episode when there were charts. So here's some more charts.
No, and I mean, again, I think that at this point, these are just concepts, tax concepts,
right? So
by the Trump.
If you're not sure about the concepts leading into tomorrow, there's some information about the economy if you'd like to learn about the economy. Florida man or Jersey guy, Kev, it is time. It is time once again for us to put you to the test. This week's, by the way, sponsored by one of my favorite new products, LUMEN. We've talked about trimming our groins. We've talked about the beauty of VIIA. We're going to talk about LUMEN now. What is LUMEN? You should know already if you've been listening for the last few weeks. LUMEN is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And everybody knows that metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns the food you eat into fuel to keep you going, okay? On the app, it's connected to the app on my phone. I blow into this first thing in the morning, and I get a reading, a numerical reading, which is telling me what percentage of I'm metabolizing between carbs and fat, okay? And for health morons like me, it gives me my suggested meal plan for the day. You can breathe into this before and after workouts, okay? Meals to know exactly what's going on in your body in real time with your metabolism. This is technology that is beyond. I mean, imagine this 20, 30 years ago. Heads would have been spinning. Metabolism is the center of everything your body does. Optimal metabolic health translates into a bunch of benefits, stuff you haven't even thought about probably, like weight management, energy levels, better fitness results, even better sleep, okay? Pre and post-workout fueling for better performance, also here. It's going to give you your reading 1 to 5 on the very handy little graphic there, and then suggestions for your food in the day. It's idiot-proof, and it's fun. It's almost like a game. Guys, if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me, lumen.me/kliq, Kliq, to get 15% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.ME/Kliq, KLIQ. 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for this. First of all, for this amazing product, and then for also allowing us to tell our special Kliq heads and Kliqettes about Lumen. All right, let's get to the game here, or to the exhibition, as it were. Kliq This, bringing you Florida man or Jersey guy. Here are the two headlines, two real headlines, one a Florida man, one a Jersey guy, and Kevin will tell us which. First, man arrested for pointing gun at rival soccer player. Second headline, dying man tried to kill wife twice because he did not want her to be alone. First one, man arrested for pointing gun at rival soccer player. Second headline, dying man tried to kill wife twice because he didn't want her to be alone.
Okay, so there's nothing in either of those that would differentiate between Jersey and Florida.
That's what you think.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I know. It's not like they don't fucking play soccer in both places. It's just not. It's not like you don't have dying people in both places. There's nothing that determines. This is another one of those guy pulls up in a fucking
Drives
Ford.
the truck through the Dunkin' Donuts.
Guy pulls up in a Chevy
7-Eleven.
with, yeah. Who's drinking the coffee? I'm going to say, it's difficult to get a handgun in Jersey. So, but it's so Florida to try to kill your wife twice, not to fucking leave her alone. So
To fail twice.
I'm gonna go with somebody's got a fucking somebody in Jersey's at a soccer game with a fucking 5-shot Smith & Wesson 38 with fucking electrician tape wrapped around the fucking the handle, pointed at somebody, and the other one's just a typical guy in some single wide who's tried to smother his wife out twice.
You see how you did that? That's
Well,
exactly the secret of the game. You just go by instinct. It's don't look for
But there's
clues. This
nothing-
is your instinct.
There's not, yeah, but there's nothing that, I mean, you have to just.
Well, but you
because
got it.
Yeah, I know, but your instinct, factually, it's harder to get a handgun in Jersey than it is in Florida.
That don't mean they're not around. And I know because a man named, for God's sakes, what's his name here, for Christ's sake? Rita Benjamin had one and pulled one. 2 adult soccer teams were playing on the field. And
What's this person's name?
Rita Benjamin. Steve, we
What
have a
the-
photo of Jersey City.
The hell?
Collided with a player on the opposing team, which led to a verbal altercation. Both
This
men.
is that damn Biden administration's problem for letting these people running over our borders.
They were both ejected from the game after the verbal altercation, but of course went further, and Benjamin pulled the gun on the other guy. And
I think he was an extra on Homeland.
And then the
Shawno.
gentleman who tried Big Daddy Cool. Here's the man that, oh, Jesus Christ, look at him. 93 years old, Marion County, Florida. Admitted to deputies he tried
my
to
neck
kill
of
his
the
wife
woods.
twice in the last 2 weeks. He did not want her to be alone. Helmut Lochner. There he is, looking good. On his way to the audition for the Crypt Keeper, he tried to kill his wife twice, for God's sakes. He first time.
You got to give the guy a little bit of a break. The tragedies he saw on the beaches of Normandy.
Right, that's right. Yeah, he actually looks good for that age.
It really does.
First tried to strangle his wife. Kevin placed a rope around her neck while she was watching TV and just tried to offer that way. Then
Nowhere near the strength to pull that off.
that was the problem.
What was his second choice?
Well, not much better because he went straight to arm strength and put a pillow over her face while the two were laying down and relaxing.
How did I know that there'd be a pillow involved?
You were absolutely correct.
See?
The two have been married for 60 goddamn years. And this is what it comes to.
Me and my wife just went 36, so in 24 more years, I'll be putting a pillow on Tamara's face.
Yeah, either that or she would not realize that you had walked behind her chair, but suddenly felt something choking her around the neck. Was able to get her fingers under the rope. She did run to the patio and call 911. Oh, for God's sakes. So he's, I guess, now been charged with attempted first degree premeditated murder. For God's sakes, Kev.
Somebody's going to break his hip when they get him in the joint.
All right, back with Kliq This Kevin Nash podcast. He's Kevin, I'm Sean, and you want to talk about lasting impressions? That's where BLUECHEW comes in, our oldest, most trusted, tried, and
You tell him, Shawno.
You got it there, Big Daddy Cool. Listen, simply put, BLUECHEW gives men longer lasting and stronger erections so you can perform at your very best. Riddled with testimonials from this, too. Birdie in New Jersey ordered, she wrote that she ordered our special free month sample from BLUECHEW and for her fiance. And when his package came.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. Happy customers all across the board. We've had people post on our show also. I think he said his wife was, I think 3 times, but a 3-minute orgasm. I think he was boasting. Guys, the process is simple. This is what makes BLUECHEW so spectacular. Sign up at BLUECHEW.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, okay? BLUECHEW tablets made in the USA, prepared, shipped directly to your door, okay? Best part, all done online. We're not going to the pharmacy. We're not fucking around in the doctor's office. We're talking online and we're getting it shipped to the house. And then you're in business like Birdie's man, laying pipe. Guys, BLUECHEW just wants you to have confidence to perform at your very best, okay? So discover your options at BLUECHEW.com. We've got a special deal, as we always have, for our dedicated Kliq This listeners, okay? Try BLUECHEW for free when you use our promo code NASH, N-A-S-H, at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping, okay? That's BLUECHEW.com, promo code NASH. To receive your first month free, visit BLUECHEW.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BLUECHEW just for creating this, first of all, and for sponsoring.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that the Cialis version is also a vasodilator. It lowers your blood pressure. It's good for the prostate. So there's also medical benefits to these drugs.
This is good to know.
But that's the Cialis. I only know that because that's the version that I partake in.
Thank you, BLUECHEW. We love you, BLUECHEW. And hashtag AskNash is how you're going to get on the pony here and be in the mix here with our live audience. You go to, by the way, KliqThisTV.com to be part of this live audience. And then hashtag AskNash. You can ask your question live here and get your answer. You're also part of the pregame show that we do our pre-show meeting. And you could also do this online. Hashtag AskNash. Like our friend Fernham Schnavitz III Jr. says, why don't you think Scott Norton wasn't pushed more in the 90s? Guy was just a big beast and badass looking dude. I could have seen him as champ or used in bigger matches.
He was used. I mean, he was a top guy in Japan.
Yes, very big in Japan.
All through that period. I don't know why it didn't translate. I think, but he was a stud when my first tour. Like, it was him and Vader and Tony Holm and there was a couple of it, but Norton was like there was if you guys want to look at for some classic New Japan matches, Norton and Bam Bam had a series of tag matches with the Steiners that are fucking really some because that Japanese style was Norton worked super strong, but Bam Bam was so athletic.
Yeah.
And of course, the Steiners are just incredible. But that was kind of the best. That's when the Steiners told Vince to fuck off and went over to New Japan, and they were making, at that point they were making like 20 grand a week a piece over there. I think Norton and Bammer were making close to that. So that was for that era, that was huge money to go over there.
But what would have prevented him from going further here? Is it promo skills? I always go to that because it is the other 50% of a talent's ability to get over on television.
Yeah, I think that when it came down to it, like we got into an era when people were pretty much themselves, and he was such a beast and such a no fuck around guy, but he was really a sweetheart, like and still is. Like, he's just a really great guy. He's just a guy that loves his wife and just, he's a great friend. It's just, I don't know.
Okay.
I think there was just so many, like, by the time he got into that mix, there was just so many guys in that top spot,
Mark asks, what was it like filming this? Here is this was the rooftop. Was it Halloween Havoc? The rooftop match. Kevin, we have footage of it, Steve? So I don't know if this was on.
It's got to be the open to Raw, right?
No, this was. I feel like this was a WCW match. I'm trying to remember where the fuck this came from. Were you ever up on the roof in WCW for anything? Battle Royal, maybe? Bunch of people in the ring?
No, it was the open to fucking Raw we shot on top of Titan Tower. It was a battle royal. I was there till fucking 2:00 in the morning, and then got left and got on a plane with my wife and went on a European promotional tour.
I see that the original post, God damn it, has been deleted by the author.
Yeah, the only time I can think about being on a roof was being on. They shot it with a helicopter, and it was the open to Raw.
Okay. All right. Very good. MC Psycho 417. Did you watch the infamous Malice at the Palace incident back in the 2000s? If yes, what were your thoughts on it when it happened, and who was to blame for the whole thing happening in the first place?
I've seen so many. I actually watched the Netflix thing about it. I've seen so many different versions. So it's kind of like asking about the Kennedy assassination at this point. It's like there's so many fucking theories. And
how about when you were a player? Could there ever have been a provocation to have you lash out as such, other than smack your coach in the face, obviously?
If you would have fucked around with, if a fan would have came out and grabbed one of the guys on my team or squared off with them, fuck, man, I'd have went.
You have to, right? Your teammates, you got to defend you.
Well, if you
let somebody get assaulted,
I never had a problem. Never had a problem with fighting.
Never had a problem with smacking a coach in the face.
Fuck it. Everybody needs a good fucking smack.
Everybody needs to pop one of our Kliq This edition Get Blitzed seltzers, for God's sakes. Oh man, and getting close to the new
We,
label
yeah,
coming out.
we, yeah.
I traded some texts with him.
I finished my last one like 2 nights ago. So I'm
good.
seltzer free.
So good. But let's talk about what got them started here, Kev, during the high spot of the show, brought to you by Mickey, Ray Sinatra, and Courtney and the Get Blitzed Lit Aid. It's the nano-infused Delta 9 THC Sippin' Syrup, okay? If you haven't tried this, it is super potent stuff. Think THC, but on steroids. It's a syrup, like you're looking at there. It's a syrup. You mix it in any beverage, like a tea or a white soda, with just a little bit, as little as a teaspoon for a fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused, by the way, means it goes right to your bloodstream, bypassing the breakdown in the liver. So it works like alcohol. If you live in Maryland, you can visit a Stay Lit smoke shop, but for the rest of us, it's legal to ship right from the Get Blitz website to almost all 50 states without a med card as long as you're over 21. And right now you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ at checkout, KLIQ, when you go to get-blitzed.com. But this pre-sale giveaway to introduce our seltzers that are coming to you very soon. If you order 2 bottles or more of the Sippin' Syrup, you get one of our limited edition Kliq This cans of THC Lit Aid for free. For orders over $200, you're going to get 2 cans, one of each flavor, Kev's Key Lime and Sean's Blue Raz Lemonade. Be sure to specify during checkout if you're only getting the one, if you want the Key Lime Pie or the Blue Raz Lemonade. Go right to get-blitzed.com, enter that code, KLIQ, save your 15% off, and for God's sakes, get our seltzers. They're so delicious. They're phenomenal. How about some live audience questions? Yes.
The audience is we're gonna get restocked here shortly.
Us?
Yeah.
Personally? Sure. Mickey, send whatever you got.
No, I mean with the new cans.
Yes, they're close. He was working through some stuff with the canning.
Oh, we talked. You and I actually. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
And he said they're pretty close. They have
a conversation.
The distribution lined up. Someone that you actually know is actually handling it to get it into the chains. Guys, you're going to be able to enjoy this. Live audience, Kev. I'm Steve. What do we got here? Got a bunch of people looking to talk to you. Here's Britt. Hi, Britt. Did we ever talk about how insanely expensive Mania tickets are? I got to sell the house and the dog and some ass to afford tickets.
You know what? I just have a feeling that, like, they're not going to sell everything out, and I bet you the prices will drop.
What are we looking at here? We're on Game Time, another one of our wonderful sponsors. So there's a whole range here. I mean,
what's
8? It looks like 805 is the cheapest that you can get.
That's for 2 days.
I think you have to buy the 2-day pass. Yeah.
Let's find something
bad
close.
When you think about it.
Find something close to the ring.
Well, ringside, if you're going down there, you're in, let's see, I see 7,000, 6,000, 13,000.
13K. None of them have the actual view, though.
No, they don't for this arena. I'm not seeing it. That'll probably
what
come
does
that
what does that place in Vegas hold for this event? Do you know how many tickets went on sale?
I don't know. They have a weird configuration. You see there, that weird. They have the ramp, but then there's a curved ramp on the side there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's okay.
65,000.
65 to 72.
So it's 70. Well, how many kills? They'll probably have 60,000, 65,000. So let's look at front row Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Let's look at the front row Taylor Swift someplace. Let me see what we got here. What's front row in the middle going to cost you there? 8,000.
Good God. 2. We're just bouncing. Yeah, the closest. It looks like the closest seat is 8,200.
So I guess you got to look at it that way. I mean, that's an $8,200 ticket every night of the week, and this is a once a year 2-night occasion in Vegas. So you got to look. I mean, you want to be a baller.
You want to be a baller. Britt, you want
Shot
to be a baller?
caller.
Sell that ass, Bruce. Sell that ass, girl.
Yeah,
Who else we
I
got
mean,
in the
it's
house?
just much cheaper to watch on TV.
Banks says, submitted my Ask Nash too late last week, so I'll ask it again. Freddie Jackson or Alexander O'Neill, who do you prefer as an overall artist?
You are my lady. I don't know. Freddie Jackson's a little old school, but I'd probably go Freddie.
All right. Very good. That's from the soul fan, soul man himself, otherwise known as Big Daddy Cool Kevin Nash.
You are my lady.
That's
one of those songs that he's one of those artists that is, I mean, it brings me back chronologically to a period of my life where just shit was just so chill.
I wasn't
looking at graphs.
I was going to say election fever.
You know.
Mark Capps, any stories about the late, great, sensational Sherri?
Really didn't know her. Was kind of a hi, how are you relationship with her. Because, you know, I basically took her spot when Diesel took the spot from Sherri on the Shawn Michaels run.
Right.
You know, they were going to go with Shawn, and the bigger guys weren't selling for Shawn, so Shawn said, fuck it, I'll get me a big heater, and they'll sell for him.
Yeah. So, and I guess he worked with her for a while, so yeah. I'm sure they got along.
I never spent much time around her, with her.
Okay.
I never heard, I mean, you know.
She was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's crazy because you would think that I would, you know, would have a ton of stories, but I mean, I don't even, I can't even recall a conversation that I had with her.
Okay. Who else from the live audience? We have a host of people waiting to speak to you. Like Irish Flyers. Kev, going to NXT this week?
I think I'm going in December.
Okay. Not this week.
I think like December. Let me see here.
They're at the ECW Arena on election night. I have a feeling you're not going to that one.
In Philly, huh?
Yeah.
It's hot.
That makes sense.
Who else in the house? Take me home. Ivan. Ivan says my triglycerides are too high at 321. Anything you'd suggest to do it naturally to avoid medication? I will admit I need to eat cleaner on a consistent basis.
Yeah, usually triglycerides are diet.
Yeah. I had you beat, Ivan. I was at 378 about a year and a half ago. Got it down to around, what was it, 30? You
know what?
Nothing to be proud of, 308, but going in the right direction.
We have to, I have to do a quick public service. So Nevermore is it's called The Raven Effect. And it's it's a film that's coming out. It's a documentary on Raven. And
Scotty?
Yep, Mr. Levy. But it's called The Raven Effect, and he wanted me to put it on my social media and everything else. And I was just like, I'd much rather, because it's gonna get lumped in with all the other shit that people just,
Right.
with an action figure. And I just wanted to tell a story there it is. And when I was in WWE, then WWF, Scotty was living in Sanford, and Scott kicked me, and it actually broke my neck. I didn't realize it, but he kicked me the first night in Montreal in the jaw and about paralyzed me. And then the second night he kicked me in the garden, and Scotty took care of me for like 2 days. I just hung out, slept on his couch, and tried to get some chiropractic work done, which I probably should have got an MRI done to my neck, but I didn't. And found out like a year and a half later in Worcester when I got cracked by Scott again with a belt to the back of my neck. That I had a previous break in my neck. So, but anyway, Scotty and I broke in together. It was me, him, and Dallas used to make trips out of Atlanta, and they used to drive me crazy. Him and Dallas would have like a TV in the car, and they'd watch like episodes of Roseanne on the way to towns, and it was too much. I just wanted to get fucking stoned.
Well, maybe you can go do that now, Kevin, because Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Big Daddy Cool Kevin Nash, and Sean O. Produced by Stephen Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2024, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one when we have a new president?
Sure, Shano.